As I'm recording this right now, the NBA draft lottery was just a couple hours ago. The order is locked in. We saw some crazy surprises. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a 2019 mock draft post-lottery edition. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe. I know you guys love the mock drafts, so let's smash a button on the like and let's hop right into it. Okay guys, we're going to start off with the #1 overall pick in the New Orleans Pelicans. We finally know who's going to hold this selection and most likely go with Zion Williamson. And they're in a very interesting scenario right now as Anthony Davis still wants out regardless of them going up to the #1 overall pick. So they're going to have an incoming trade package from Anthony Davis to go along with one of the most polarizing prospects we've ever seen. A player that in his freshman season got 23 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks while shooting 68% from the field and 34% from 3, 6'6", 6'7", 285 pounds, a crazy 40+ inch vertical. He's a dream of an NBA prospect, and with the incoming trade package from Anthony Davis, whether that be a young player like Jason Tatum or incoming picks, maybe even in the 2019 NBA draft, such as the 3rd overall pick from the Knicks or the 4th overall pick from the Los Angeles Lakers. So regardless of what happens with Anthony Davis, right now it's a great time to be a New Orleans Pelicans fan. Next, we got another team that jumped up in the lottery. That's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies at #2, and I'm going to have them take JimmerRange. Now, obviously, Mike Conley is not the long-term option for the Memphis Grizzlies. Last year in the draft, they ended up getting Jaren Jackson Jr., who had a pretty solid rookie season, getting 14 points and 5 rebounds. Alongside JimmerRange, I think they'd be starting to build a pretty solid young core, which is very important in a small market team like Memphis. JimmerRange's a guy that exploded in his sophomore season. He got 25 points per game. He led the country in assists at 10 a game. He shot 50% from the field and 36% from 3, taking almost 5 attempts a game. He's a 6'3" point guard. He's clearly the best point guard in this class. I like him going at #2 to the Memphis Grizzlies, but I wouldn't rule out them going with RJ Barrett. With the 3rd overall pick in the draft, we've got the New York Knicks, and personally, I really wanted to see them go up to #1. I wanted to see Zion in a big market, and personally, I felt he really wanted to go there, but sadly, they're sitting at #3, where I'm going to have them take RJ Barrett, who's no slouch of a prospect, a 6'7" wing that going into the season was projected to be this #1 overall pick. Right now, I got him going at #3, but he's a guy that this season got 23 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 4.3 assists, while shooting 45% from the field and 31% from 3. Going to New York, I definitely think they would be happy to have him, put him alongside Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, but I don't think that's what they want to happen. I think the goal for them right now is going after Anthony Davis. Who knows if they're going to have the right trade package. Obviously, they've got assets such as Kevin Knox, Alonzo Trier, and Mitchell Robinson to go along with this 3rd overall pick, but with the Los Angeles Lakers jumping up to #4 to add to their pool of young talent they already have, to me they're looking like frontrunners, but definitely don't rule out New York, and man oh man would that be crazy if we could see Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant playing in New York, and RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson teaming back up in New Orleans. That would make for an interesting season next year, but as of right now, that's what I got happening at #3. Next, we got another surprise at #4 as the Los Angeles Lakers jumped all the way up to the #4 pick. For a second there, I thought we were about to see some rigged stuff go down and the Lakers go up to #1, get Zion, team him up with LeBron. I thought for a second that was going to happen, but they ended up settling at #4, where I'm going to have them take Jarrett Culver. Like I just mentioned, I think the goal for them is obviously to get Anthony Davis, and this 4th overall pick would most likely be included in that deal. But if Anthony Davis is on a plane to New York or Boston, and they're stuck with this 4th overall pick, I'm going to have them take Jarrett Culver, a 6'5" shooting guard, who ended up going all the way to the NCAA championship this season, exploded in draft value in his sophomore year as he got 19 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals while shooting 46% from the field and 30% from 3. Now the 30% from 3, I've said this multiple times in videos, it is pretty alarming, but seeing that in his freshman season on practically the same amount of volume, when he had a less ball dominant role, he managed to shoot 38% from 3. It does ease a little bit of the concern. I like Jarrett Culver as a prospect, his ability on both ends of the ball, his ability to be a secondary ball handler, and with the Los Angeles Lakers not having a solid piece at that shooting guard position, at least long term, Jarrett Culver would fit in decently to the roster as it's already constructed. I don't think that's the ideal scenario for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they really don't want to be taking anyone with this pick, but if they're stuck with this selection, I don't see them going with anyone but Jarrett Culver. With the 5th overall pick in the draft, we see the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm going to have them take DeAndre Hunter, a 6'7" wing fresh off an NCAA championship, who in his sophomore season managed to get 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, while shooting 52% from the field and 44% from 3. Great on the defensive end. Solid athleticism to go along with insane efficiency on one of the best teams in college basketball. He screams 3-and-D alongside Colin Sexton. I like what they'd be doing over there in Cleveland. Colin Sexton's a guy that really came into his own at the tail end of his rookie season. I think this pick makes a lot of sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter's draft value has definitely gone up over the past couple months, and that's what I got at #5. Next, we got the Phoenix Suns at number 6, and I'm gonna have them take Darius Garland. And funny enough, in my last video, I actually talked about, if they landed at number 6, I'm really not sure where they would go. Would they go Darius Garland, Cam Reddish, and they end up getting this 6th overall pick, but I'm gonna have them go Darius Garland. They got a hole at that point guard spot. Obviously, they've got great young talent in DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. You add Darius Garland into the mix, they'd be starting to build a backcourt similar to what we're seeing in Portland. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but it would be very similar as far as on paper. He's the guy that in the 5 games we got to see him play, got 16 points per game, was shooting 54% from the field and 48% from 3. Obviously, a very small sample size, but in that time, definitely showed a skill set on the offense side of the basketball. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns are disappointed. They aren't in the top 3 of this draft, but I think they'll be pretty happy getting Guy and Darius Garland. Next, we got the 7th overall pick in the draft. That's going to be the Chicago Bulls, and I got them taking Kobe White. They could easily go Cam Reddish here, but sitting at number 7, if Garland or White's available, I don't see them not addressing that point guard spot. He's a guy that in his freshman season at 6'5", managed to get 16 points, 4 assists, while shooting 42% from the field, and playing very well beyond the arc on 6.6 attempts a game, shooting 35%. Chicago already knows their duo going in the future. That's Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine. They're doing the right thing to put pieces around them. They used their first overall selection last year on Wendell Carter. He looks like he could be a solid player going in the future. They traded for Otto Porter. Now it's time to address that point guard spot, and this could be a blessing in disguise falling in the lottery, because if they would have been stuck at that 4th or 5th overall selection, they might have felt pressure to not let a guy like Jarrett Culver slide. Sitting at number 7, I like them going with Kobe White. Now ideally, I would have loved to see JimmerRange go to the Bulls. I think that would have been the perfect fit. Obviously, he's going to be most likely going at number 2 to the Grizzlies, so right now, Kobe White makes the most sense at number 7. Next, we got the 8th overall pick in the draft. That's going to be the Atlanta Hawks, and I'm going to have them take Cam Reddish. Now, going into the season, Cam Reddish was easily a top 5 pick, but after a pretty disappointing freshman season, especially when it comes to efficiency, his value has fallen a lot. Now, he could still be a top 5 pick. I can see the Cavs going with him. I can see the Suns going at him. I can see the Bulls going at him, but with so many questions surrounding him right now, I think he's going to fall to number 8, and would actually be a pretty solid fit in Atlanta. They've got a great facilitator in Trae Young, and Cam Reddish played off ball for the majority of his freshman season at Duke. That makes a lot of sense. At number 9, we see the Washington Wizards. I think they would want Cam Reddish, but with him off the board and not a good option to address the backup point guard spot, I think they go best player available. And to me, that's Jackson Hayes, a 6'11" shot-blocking power forward or center coming out of Texas. At number 10, again, we see the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to have them take Bol Bol. Now, Bol Bol is definitely a risky selection. Some mock drafts have him falling a lot further than this. You have to worry about the injury. You have to worry about his frame. But Bol Bol had such an impressive run to start the year at Oregon. He played in 9 games. He got 21 points per game. He shot over 50% from the field, over 50% from 3, to go along with 2.7 blocks a game. Man, oh man, was that impressive. I think at this point he's going slightly undervalued as a prospect. Obviously, it is a risk, but man, oh man, is the upside huge. I think the Hawks are in position to take a risk like that, especially with 2 top 10 selections. At number 11, we see the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going to have them go with Brandon Clark. The only thing to get excited for in Minnesota is their star player in Karl-Anthony Towns, and his one weakness is his defensive ability, and that's what Brandon Clark can give you at that power forward position. He can switch onto multiple matchups. While he might be slightly undersized, he proved his ability at Gonzaga, and he's no slouch on the offensive side of the basketball, especially going out the basket. I think he's a perfect fit for Minnesota. I like that selection at number 11. At number 12, we see the Charlotte Hornets. I'm going to have them go with PJ Washington. Obviously, right now, the big question in Charlotte is Kemba Walker, but there's really not a solid point guard to take here if you're worried about his departure. I'm not sure if they're ready to give up on Malik Monk yet. At this point, it looks like they could be building around Miles Bridges. I'm going to have them go with a power forward. That's going to be PJ Washington, who had a solid jump in value this season as he managed to get 15 points, 8 rebounds, while shooting 52% from the field and 42% from 3. He really started to progress throughout the season going into the NCAA tournament. In my opinion, he's easily a top 3 power forward in this class, and I like him going number 12 to the Charlotte Hornets. At number 13, we got the Miami Heat, where I'm going to have them take Rui Hachimura. I'm really not sure who they would go with here. They don't really need a center. They don't really need a wing with Josh Richardson and Justice Winslow. I'm going to have them go with another power forward. That's going to be Rui Hachimura. Now, Rui Hachimura is a very controversial topic. A lot of people think he's easily a top 10 selection, especially in my comment section, and some people feel that he could be falling all the way to the 20s. For right now, I'm going to settle at 13. Rui Hachimura was one of the best players in college basketball. This season, he got 20 points per game while shooting 59% from the field. And lastly, we got the 14th overall pick. That's going to be the Boston Celtics, where I'm going to have them take the best player on the board, and that's going to be a foreign prospect in Sekou Doumbouya. That's the end video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And the shoutouts are going to be Catherine Dawson, Wells, Kevin Watley, Noella Linda, and Unknown Man. If you guys want to shout out on the next video, all you got to do is like the video, comment like, and I'll shout 5 of you guys out. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and peace.